What's going on, friends? Wade for the Kingdom Report back with you once again, covering all the latest Disney Parks news stories from coast to coast. And here's what's happening, starting out west first at the Disneyland Resort, where KTLA 5 is reporting that the Disneyland Resort this week announced it has finally set a return date for tram service after a nearly 2-year-long closure, and it's just in time for the popular Food and Wine Festival. Starting February 23rd, guests will once again be able to board the transportation that whisks them away from the Mickey and Friends and Pixar Palace parking structures to the Esplanade between both Disneyland and California Adventure. Without the service, visitors have had to make the long walk to the Anaheim theme parks if they parked in either of the two structures. And for guests who wanted or required transportation to the theme park entrances, the off-site Toy Story parking lot has been providing shuttles to the resort. Once the tram reopens, visitors who want to walk to the downtown Disney district or the theme parks can use the pedestrian bridge over Magic Way, according to a Disney spokesperson. The February 23rd date also means the service will be in operation for Disney California Adventure's Food and Wine Festival, the first time the annual event will be returning since March 2020, when it, along with the theme parks, was forced to abruptly shut down due to the burgeoning pandemic. With closures still in place, at the beginning of last spring, the resort got creative and offered the food-centric A Touch of Disney inside California Adventure. While the rides weren't operating, guests had the chance to gorge on their favorite Disney treats, shop for merchandise, and just stroll around the theme park in a limited capacity environment. This year, fans can indulge in the full Food and Wine Festival, which begins March 4th and will run through April 26th, according to Disneyland Resort news releases. In addition to California Adventure's Food and Wine Festival, Soarin Over California is returning for another limited run beginning on March 4th, 2022. This does occur simultaneously with the start of the Food and Wine Festival, which runs through April 26th, 2022. It's important to note, though, there is no end date for the attraction at this time. It hasn't been announced, so perhaps we will see a run of Soarin Over California go all the way through summer. We can dream at least, right? Shifting gears to news out of the Walt Disney Company corporate, blogmickey.com is reporting that after a record quarter, investors are wondering how much more margin can be squeezed out of the Disney theme parks. And when asked about the profit margin, Disney CFO Christine McCarthy praised the technology changes that Disney has made at its theme parks, calling out two features that remove interaction between guests and cast members, saying, quote, "We've been saying this all along through the pandemic, where we have taken measures to really look at the cost base and how we're doing things. And there has been a fundamental shift in some of the operational processes that the parks had used for many, many years. And things like the ability to do mobile dining or not having to check in with a human being at a hotel. Those kinds of things are all things that add to some upside that we have at the parks." Blog Mickey says, of course, Disney would point to these types of technologies as improving the guest experience, but there is a human cost to consider, as well as when profit margins are chased. Disney CEO Bob Chapek also talked about the difficulty Disney is having hiring hospitality cast members. And speaking of Disney's earnings call, MarketWatch is reporting that the Walt Disney Company isn't just seeing a pandemic recovery in its park business, it's also setting records in the process. As Thursday afternoon trading after the entertainment giant delivered a better-than-expected fiscal first quarter earnings report that was highlighted by what the company said were new revenue and operating income records in its domestic parks and resorts business. One striking statistic was that from the September quarter to the December quarter, Disney grew domestic parks revenue by $1.33 billion, while it increased domestic parks profits by a nearly identical $1.31 billion, noted by MoffettNathanson analyst Michael Nathanson. Quote, "In other words, in a period of rising inflation, the domestic park business added zero incremental costs as revenues surged," he wrote. Nathanson said the park's rebound reflected the most amazing set of drivers that we've ever seen. And he says the business is well positioned to demonstrate a massive recovery in profits over the next 3 quarters. In addition to that revenue-boosting news, Deadline is reporting that Disney CEO Bob Chapek said on a conference call that a third to half of parkgoers are opting to upgrade to a tier called Genie Plus, which is way above what we expected, he said. New higher price tiers on offer include Disney Genie and Disney Genie Plus, as well as Lightning Lane. Chapek noted that the price of a base ticket hasn't changed, but it's hard to nab a spot during the most in-demand times, and it used to include amenities that have now become extras. Chapek said that changes are all about customization and personalization of the park experience. In other news, your vacation photos may have a new use. Fox Business is reporting that the Smithsonian National Museum of American History is asking for vacation photos from Disneyland in California or Disney World in Florida. These images would be used for an upcoming project that the museum is working on. The museum announced on its website that it's looking for all kinds of photos from the parks. These pictures can include posted photos or candid shots. They can also include famous landmarks from the parks or popular characters. Quote, "Our team at the National Museum of American History is working on a future project," the announcement said, "and we're looking for images that capture your experiences as guests at Disneyland and Walt Disney World. If you submit a photo and/or a story, they might appear in the museum." The announcement also says it's looking for images that capture the experience of visiting the park, saying, quote, "We want to see photographs that show Disney parks as you experience them," it said, posing with characters, kids worn out and sleeping, families, couples, individuals, people of all abilities, ethnicities, ages, on rides, eating together, looking at maps, everyday stuff, close quote. The announcement continued saying, "All decades and time periods, especially as Disney parks change and evolve over time, we love candid and posed. Even figures on the lens are A-OK. We can crop photos for composition, so don't hold back on blurry or double exposed photos." The museum did clarify that it will alter photos if they include images of people who have not given permission to be included in the project. This may include cropping the photos or even blurring certain faces. And photos can be submitted for the project through the museum's website. And finally, Walt Disney World nor Disneyland are included in the top 5 of the USA Today's 10 Best Readers' Choice for Best Amusement Park in 2021. They say North America is home to more than 400 amusement parks and attractions, attracting more than 375 million visitors annually, according to the International Association of Amusement Parks and Attractions. The choices can be overwhelming for those looking to plan the perfect vacation. And to help narrow down those options, USA Today asked their readers to vote for their favorites, and the results are in. Coming in at number 10 is Knott's Berry Farm. Number 9, Magic Kingdom in Orlando at Walt Disney World. Number 8, Hershey Park in Hershey, Pennsylvania. Number 7, Cedar Point in Sandusky, Ohio. Number 6, Busch Gardens in Tampa, Florida. Number 5, Dollywood in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. Number 4, Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. Number 3, Kings Island in Mason, Ohio. Number 2, Silver Dollar City in Branson, Missouri. And taking home the number 1 spot in the best amusement park is SeaWorld Orlando. Most famous as a marine zoological park, SeaWorld Orlando has made a name for itself in the world of high-octane thrill rides as well, including Manta, one of the only coasters of its kind in the world, and Mako, a hyper coaster with deep dives, high speeds, and thrills aplenty. Young visitors can now walk down Sesame Street and interact with their favorite furry friends, all at SeaWorld Orlando. Are you surprised that Walt Disney World nor Disneyland made it into the top 5? Disneyland not even making it into the top 10, and only one Disney theme park overall making it in to the 10 list. Let us know in the comments. As always, we look forward to hearing your perspective. And for the Kingdom Report, I'm Wade Heath. We'll see you next time for another installment of the Disney News Update.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.